Talk. We're going to take a look at a Yamaha model EM 100. This is a mixer amplifier that was brought in for service, and if we observe when I turn on the power, observe what happens here. I'll just get a close-up of the meter here so you can see what's going on and take a listen. Okay, that's not a good sign. Okay, now it popped once, but we have okay, it hummed there initially when I turned it on, but the hum seems to have gone away. Let's plug a couple of inputs into this thing and see if this thing actually does anything. Now I've got all my levels turned to 0, so we'll just give it a bit of input. Sounds like our controls are very dirty for one, but I'm not getting any output at all from the right channel. I'm panning it from left to right. And these are all on line input, these inputs. But as you can hear, I've got nothing. Go to the left channel. Let's try the next set of inputs. So we have some issues with this unit, and we have some loose controls on here too, or loose jacks, like this one. It's loose. So we have some issues with this unit. Let's get it apart. So we remove the screws from the bottom here, the 4 screws from the bottom, and 2 more screws from the back here, and the unit should lift apart. It does lift apart. I just had it apart. I stuck it back together so you guys can see how it comes apart. Okay, the unit lifts apart like that. We'll reveal. Okay, we'll try and identify these parts for you so you can see what's in here. Set it up like that. Okay, so we have a couple main components here. One, we have our power transformer. We have our main power transformer back here. We have our amplifier board, and this is just using standard STK032 power modules. So it's an IC amplifier. You can see the power modules are down here and here. We have a I guess this is a preamp board here. Power supply rectifier. Our filter capacitors over here. This big can that you see here, this is a reverberation can. In case you guys don't know what's inside one of these things, basically it's a transducer on either side and a spring between them. And I don't know if we can see what's inside this thing or not. Some of these units come apart so you can actually see what's inside them. This might be one that does. Remove the screw that holds it in place. You may be able to lift the whole reverb unit out of this cabinet and take a look at it, just so you can see what's inside this thing. And probably these screws are holding it down as well. Most of these reverb units, the top comes off them relatively easy. So we remove a couple of screws, and the reverb unit will slide out. The top cover comes off as it comes out of it. So you can see what's inside a reverberation unit. So basically, what you've got inside this thing, for those of you that don't know how these things work, is basically it's a coil, a little magnet, forms an electromagnet, and it causes your input signal. Your input is, this is actually the output side, but I don't think it really matters too much. You've got an input side and an output side, and they're both exactly the same. Your audio signal, and this whole block is isolated, as you can see. It's mounted on springs. There's springs on all four sides here. So this whole block is physically isolated from any vibrations that occur on the mixer itself. The reason for that is if you were to bump your mixer, you would make a really loud noise that you would hear. And how these things work is your audio signal is fed into the little coil here, and it causes these springs to, these are basically like the voice coil in a speaker. So your audio fluctuation moves the little voice coils back and forth, which transfers into these springs, which are really loose little springs here. And they transmit that signal as they vibrate down to the pickup coil on this side. And then this pickup coil, it moves the little magnets here that are in these little caps, causes those little magnets to vibrate, which transmits the magnetic energy into this pickup coil, be picked up by that coil and sent back to the amplifier as feedback. So any sound that comes in, it takes time to make it through the springs. As you can see, these springs will vibrate quite a bit. So as your sound is coming in and it's modulating the springs here, there's a delay, and that's what causes your reverberation. Your electromechanical device. And of course, the famous, if you bash the amplifier or the unit hard enough, you get the springs, you can actually make the springs crash together, and then you get a big crashing sound. It was kind of cool. I remember when I was a kid growing up, my aunt had this Hammond organ. It was a tone wheel, real nice B3 Hammond. I wish I still had that thing. It weighed like 400 pounds, but it had reverberation unit like that in it, and you could turn it on and off. It actually had a couple of them, but you could turn it on and off, and and then it went to this. It had this Leslie speaker, which had the horn, the speaker that rotated around inside. It was really quite the thing. They're very retro now in music. They're very retro, and getting your hand on a good old B3 is it's like winning the lottery. There's still a few of them around, but they're getting quite rare. They were big beasts, but they had these acoustic reverberation unit on it. It was kind of cool. I remember taking this thing apart and overhauling it and all, and cleaning all the switches out, but it was just too big, so I had to unload this thing, and I put it up for sale, and I didn't really know what it was worth, and first guy come along and he offered me what I was asking for it, and I thought I won the lottery selling this thing, because I got a fair bit of money for it. I actually inherited this organ when my aunt passed away. I actually inherited this thing, but I had no idea what the value of the thing was. I just wanted rid of it because I didn't have room for it, because the thing weighed like 300 pounds, right? It was a monster. This guy come out in his old beat up hippie Volkswagen bus. We loaded this thing in. I thought the tires were going to blow. It took three of us to wrestle this bloody thing inside his truck, and he had to send somebody else back to pick up the speaker for it because he couldn't fit it. He had this old bus with no seats in it, and we just kind of crammed this big old B3 in there, and But I remember taking the thing all apart. This is going back probably 15 years or so. I remember taking it all apart and cleaning all the switches, because all the little individual key switches they were all getting dirty, so it made like a scratchy sound when you hit any keys. So I overhauled the thing. That was long before I was making these videos. That was actually when I was still working in the TV business. Anyway, I ended up selling this thing. I'm kind of kicking myself because it was worth a lot more than I got for it. But anyway, that's beside the point. Just talking about the reverberation unit. Let's get into this thing. What I think I'm going to start out by doing on this unit is we're going to clean all these controls here. Get the neutral contact cleaner out, and we're going to spray down every one of these controls, get them all clean, and then we'll take a listen to it and see how it performs. So it's going to prop the unit up a little differently here. I want to be able to get into the controls and get the cleaner into the actual controls themselves. So I'm just tipping them up on this side so that all the cleaner will run down rather than spraying it up into the pots. I can spray it into it directly. So I'm just going to get my can of neutral, and we're going to proceed to clean all the controls. So I'll start with, I'm just looking at which ones I'm going to start with. I'll start with, let me start with this one up here. We'll just get in here and we'll do this all. I won't film the cleaning of every single one of them because we'll be here all day doing that, but we'll get the cleaner in there and we'll just rotate the control several times, and I'm going to do the same for all of the controls here. Get to the next one in here. Do the same. I'll shut the camera off here while I'm cleaning the controls here because it's going to take me a few minutes, and well, there's really not a lot to see, right? So as I'm cleaning this thing, I'm looking at the circuit board and I spot this. What the hell is that? Looks like a rat's nest down here. What is it? Oh! It's a screw that has somehow just been abandoned in this unit. I'm surprised this thing didn't blow up in the past, because that didn't get taken out anywhere. It must have fallen out, or it must have been one of those extra screws that got put in at the factory and no one found it and they dropped it. But it was just sitting here on the amplifier board waiting to short something out. Maybe that's what caused my initial humming and popping when I first turned it on. Maybe it was causing a short somewhere. But okay, I've cleaned the controls, gone through most of my can. I don't think there's much left in this thing, if any. It's time to get a new can of neutral. Okay, the thing I got to put down on my to-do list, which I won't be able to do for a while because today is the only day I've got off. I'll go back to work in my regular job tomorrow and get 15 days, I guess, straight. Before I see another day off. So I won't be able to get in and get any parts for any of the projects I've got working on here for a while. But let's hook this thing back up and see if I've made any improvement. Okay, unit's powered back up. Let's hit the power switch. I didn't hear a hum that time. That's good. I think my speakers are all still connected. Let's just plug in some inputs and see whether we get any sound here. So my volume is turned down to minimum, so let's turn up my inputs a bit. See if we get anything here. My left channel's not. Another thing I've noticed is that my monitor amp, there's got no sound from either channel. Listen, all extremely distorted. So one thing we need to determine is the preamp working as well, or is it just a power amp problem? So what I've done is I've connected the record outputs into my existing amplifier. This will take the output from the actual mix board before it goes through the power amplifiers, because we need to determine, do we have both our left and right signals making it to these outputs here? If there's a problem in the mixer, then we got to figure out what's wrong with there first. I know definitely we got a problem in in the monitor speaker amplifier, but is the main channel amplifier, does it also have a problem? Because we only have one channel. So we can answer that question by just plugging in two external record outputs and take a listen to our mix. So I've turned the left volume up, nothing's happening. If I turn the pan pot to the right, so pan pot to the left, nothing. Pan pot to the right, I have it. Same with channel 2. Channel 2, if I open it up, if I'm on the left channel, I've got nothing. So we have a problem in the preamp as well. So let's solve the problem in the preamp first. Make sure we're getting both of our signals to the main amplifier board. So we got to solve that issue too. So this unit has multiple problems. Besides having all the controls dirty, we've only got signal on the left channel, or the right channel, and we have a problem in the monitor circuit. Now I got to talk to the client about that, because he may not use the monitor at all. He may just be using this as a mixer. In fact, he may not even be using the speaker outputs on this thing. He may be using it to drive powered speakers. But anyway, I got to find the source of the loss of the left signal anyway. So let's get in here with the scope and see what's going on. Well, I didn't have to look that hard. I have a broken wire. What do you bet? That is the signal wire for the other channel. Let's see where it goes. From what I can see, it goes right there. Right, the green wire is to the next one. That's going to go to that pad there. So I'm just going to solder it on and see if we get our left channel back. My bet is that we do. Huh. Maybe these wood sticks aren't that great after all. This is that wooden tripod. At high zoom, it shakes like a leaf. Interesting. Let's. I'm gonna put the camera back on my regular metal sticks and see whether at that high magnification, just brushing the sticks will cause it to shake like that. That's ridiculous. I was all set to keep using this thing. I thought, well, this is a nice tripod. It's nice and smooth, but that is ridiculous. It oscillates. Okay, here's on the metal tripod, and I'll just tap the leg on this and see whether it vibrates a bit too, but nothing near as much as the wood one. I think probably what's happening is the resonation is probably messing with the steady shot in the camera, and the camera's actually probably doing that itself because of the resonation. But anyway, let's get that wire soldered on and see what progress we make on this little unit here. One thing for sure, that other tripod has a much better head on it than this one as far as panning and tilting goes. The fluid drag on that one is much better than this one. Okay, soldering iron's warmed up. We'll just get in here and turn this thing a little bit so I can see what I'm doing, and so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Maybe throw a bit more light in here. And I'm just going to solder the wire back onto here. No, the unit's not plugged in, but it is hooked up to my other amplifier, and it's hearing my iron. It's still plugged into my other amp, which is turned on. Okay, wire soldered down. Let's see whether we have sound on both channels. I would say yes. We have sound on both channels. So, next thing is to hook the speakers back up and see whether I have sound on both the main and the sub channel, or left and right channels, I should say. Okay, speakers are hooked up. Let's open up our pots and open up our master. Still, I only have sound I still only have sound on one side. Yeah, so we still only have sound on the right channel, no sound on the left. So let's get in with the scope and see why. And the monitor, of course, is still all distorted. That wire that was broken off was obviously just for the record outputs. If I clip onto the red wire going in, which I can show you in a minute, but if I clip onto the red wire going in here and I turn up the pot, okay, that's the right channel. The left channel is the white wire. I've got it cranked up all the way. There's no input coming in. So we have nothing coming from the preamp to the power amp for the left channel. So now it's just a matter of me tracing this wire back to see where this wire goes. I'll take the camera off and show you what we're testing right now. So here's the test points that I'm using. This is the input wire here. Get these power wires out of the way. This red wire here, this is the input wire. I have sound on that. That's my right channel here. My left channel is this one here, and I have nothing coming in on the white wire. So we're going to trace this red wire here as it follows its way back and see where it goes, because obviously we've got no signal making it this far to the power amp. I thought of something else, and good thing I thought of it here. They're actually using both separate amplifiers for left and right. The other amp over here is actually doing the left channel because I clip onto the input on that, and you'll see this is my left channel that we're not hearing. See the scope? That's my left channel that we're not hearing. Music's fading. Okay, there's the left channel. It's cranked up, there's nothing. If I go over to the other one over here, that's the right channel. But over here, the left channel. So this other power amplifier module, this is doing the left. Let me just do some more testing here. So we know we've got power making it to the power module now. We just don't have sound. So let's take a look at that. And I still don't know why my monitor out is so distorted. Like there's no signal unless the monitor output is not. It might just be a pre-out, even though it's a speaker type plug. It might just be a preamp output because I only see the two power amps in this thing. Anyway, let's take a look at this power amp board and see why we're not getting any signal through it on the left side. If we look at our power source coming in, I'm just going to ground my meter over here. Okay, brown wire coming in here is our power supply. I have 67 volts going in, same on both modules. So we have audio going in, we've got power going in. Chances are the module is cooked. That's I'm going to pull the module out and just see whether there's any connections or anything that are broken. But good chance that's where all the problem is this power module has failed. Since these have two completely separate little circuit boards for the module itself, it's a good chance that probably what happened is that stupid screw that was lying on the circuit board shorted something out and blew that module out. It may have even been sitting on this board, and when I turned the unit over to take the screws out, it fell to where I found it. But you saw the screw that was rattling around in there. That likely is a very good indicator of what may have led to the failure of this unit, and we're going to have to get a power module for it. I'm just going to check to make sure that there's no connections on here that are suspect, but I think at this point it's probably pretty safe to say that the problem is going to be the module, because everything's all self-contained, right? Unless there's a resistor that's gone open or something, a protection resistor that's gone open that's taken power into it. If we've got power to the module and we've got audio going in and we have no audio coming out, doesn't leave much left other than the module itself is causing the problem. Okay, I'm scoping pin number 8, which is the input to the IC. I got the volume cranked all the way up and I got nothing here, but on the other side of the resistor, it's a 1K resistor feeding into it, I got lots of signal, even all distorted signal, but on this side I've got absolutely nothing because the IC itself has got a problem, it's shorted. If I do the old wet finger check and just tap it, I should be hearing all kinds of racket coming out of the speakers now, but I'm hearing nothing because this IC is cooked. I just did a quick check on it. I called the local parts supplier. doesn't sound good for this unit because they haven't had the part in 8 years in stock. So I'm going to do a little bit of research and see if I can find one, but at this point in the game it's sounding like I may be fighting a losing battle unless I can find a supplier that's got one that is reasonable. And the last cost I got on one of these 8 years ago was $48 for that IC. So I'm going to do a little bit of research and see whether I can actually even come up with one. And then I got to get a hold of the owner of this unit and see how much money he wants to spend on it, if I can even find the part. But at this stage of the game, that may not even be possible, but we'll figure it out. So as I suspected on this, the part's going to have to come from China, it looks like. I spoke to the owner of it, and he's going to make a decision whether we're going to go forward with this or not. So I'm going to leave this video at this point, and we'll make another one when the part comes in. We'll make a part 2 when we get this thing going. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you at the next one. Bye for now.